I would definitely recommend everyone who is fond of nature to do research. Ice research is amazing. It's a James Bond life with public relations and lots of traveling and it's really all the time. You're learning something. Yes, I would recommend research for every kid I meet. Some places we feel like adventurers or explorators because those parts of the Arctic, like especially the northernmost island of Svalbard, it's not visited very much. Only scientists come there and not every year. So depending on the mission, you can spend few days on the glaciers if your station or your base camp is nearby, or if it's in a really remote area, you can, if you want to achieve something, and especially ice core drilling, you have to spend several weeks, between 3-5 weeks, or then it's months, 1 or 2 months. But this really depends on the objective of your mission and on the weather that you encounter in this area. A good field day can last 2 days or 3 days because it depends on the weather. And a good field day is a day when you collect data, you manage to do your work. And that's really rewarding, but it's completely depending on the weather. And a bad field day is when you try to do something, you install your instruments or you start working and then a storm comes and you have to stop and you have done all that for nothing. It's not boring to come back from those places that were really challenging. You are happy actually to come back and especially with something to analyze, and then I'm really excited about going to the lab and measure all those samples that I collected and let it tell me what has happened in the past there. And then there is the lab work includes cutting the ice, processing ice samples. So it's a lot of work in cold room, just taking ice samples and cutting them in small pieces and putting them in containers. I can spend months again in the cold, even if I'm in Rovaniemi in the lab. But then comes the analytical part of the work. I take those prepared samples to a clean room, very clean room, because what we measure is very low concentrations of ions or other components. And I have to work in very clean environment.